Okay, one of my favorite movies is the Bolt movie. I'm sure you've heard about the Bolt movie. The next question is, if your dog could have superpowers, what one superpower would you dub on him? Which superpower would you give to your dog?
If I had a dog, if I had a dog, I would have to give my dog X-ray vision.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be an interesting thing to give to your dog. But I remember seeing the Bolt movie in connection with the Miley Cyrus question, and I was so, amazed at this computer animated movie, and the concept of the movie was just phenomenal. Did you see the movie Bolt?
No, but I have seen previews for it.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool movie. I really enjoyed it. It came out in the summer of 2008, and I thought that the way that it was put together, the way that they had, the dog who actually thought he had superpowers was pretty cool, and I always wanted to have a Superbuck, but I never had one. Okay, the next question is, you're a fan of Twilight, obviously. You mentioned that to me the other day. Which one of the four books do you enjoy? And of course, obviously, you've seen the movies and stuff. Which one of the four books do you enjoy out of the series?
I would have to say the fourth book in the saga, which is Breaking Dawn.
Yeah.
And I would have to choose that because in that book, Bella and Edward have a kid named Renesmee, and obviously they're working on the movie right now, and the movie's coming out on November 18th, 2011. Check that out.
I remember.
So, yeah, definitely. It's probably my favorite book because not only because they have a kid, it's because, the movie is just so intense, and of course there's a lot of Twilight haters out there. But there's just something about the movie that, sparks inside me. It's I just love that movie.
Yeah. I remember I have a fond story of that. The summer of the second one, I think the second one is called New Moon. The summer of the second one, a lot of independent wrestlers had to take their special friend to see the movie. So then, of course, the time of the movie conflicted with the time of the interview. So some of the wrestlers would leave their girlfriend in the line, and they'd call me from the lineup of the Twilight movie while they were waiting to get in. And you could hear fans screaming in the background waiting to get into this movie. And I'm thinking, well, obviously someone is obsessed with this movie. There's obviously some kind of crazy obsession. Either that, or they all want to let everybody know that's listening to HEW Entertainment Variety Radio, I was one of the fortunate few to have a ticket to see this movie. I don't know. Everybody loves HEW Entertainment. Even people standing in the lineup of the Twilight movies want to let everybody know and be on HEW. But the next question is, how did you become a wrestling fan? It's a generic question.
Okay, well, I became a wrestling fan about 2005, late 2005, early 2006, when my brother actually introduced it to me. The first time he introduced it to me was up at my old house, actually. We were outside, and he told me to come in. It was 8 or 9 o'clock. He showed me, actually, on USA. It was WWE Monday Night Raw. It was actually right around the time, I think it was around Edge and Lita's wedding, actually, when they had the sex celebration, actually.
2006.
And I was, so, intrigued by this. I was like, what is this? And then he was like, okay, well, this is Monday Night Raw. So, I just, loved it from the moment I saw it. And, about 2 or 3 years after I started watching it, he introduced me to TNA. And, I just, completely fell in love with TNA. I stopped watching WWE for a point of time because there was this awesome tag team in TNA, and you obviously know who I mean, LAX. I, loved it. It was, the best, the best promotion ever, and I just, loved it. So that's pretty much how I got into it, so.
Yeah, it works, I remember watching wrestling when I was about 10 years old and seeing, the Godwins and Doink the Clown and being scared of The Undertaker, which leads me to my next question. How do you feel about The Undertaker using... Alright, so how do you feel about Johnny Cash and The Undertaker? Do you think they mix? Do you like the concept that The Undertaker's using this Johnny Cash music now, or...?
Well, for The Undertaker, it's different because I'm so used to his old theme song, so it's kind of weird, but I could get used to it, I guess, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I heard the columnists on television the other day, and they were doing this, wrestling recap thing, and one of them weren't exactly too struck on The Undertaker using Johnny Cash music. Now, I got a kind of the mixed reaction from it. I kind of like it, because it's, you know, kind of new, and where he's like on his last, you know, second or third year, whatever. He's got 2 or 3 years left. I think it kind of freshens it up for the fans. I think it's something new. I don't know how you feel about that, but like I kind of like it. I kind of got a mixed reaction towards it.
Yeah, because I kind of grew up with the old Undertaker.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did, and I kind of did too. And then, you know, it's kind of a mixed reaction. I kind of like the music, you know, the theme of the song kind of goes with it, you know.
Yeah.
It kind of goes with it. Next question is, which one of the 2 major soft drinks do you enjoy most, Coke or Pepsi?
That's a hard question. Well, if I had to pick Pepsi.
Okay. Why?
Well, because, well, like, when I was, like, younger and whatnot, like, I would always choose Pepsi over Coca-Cola because of the fact that, like, it has such a cool design. And, like, I used to have, like, a little basketball with the Pepsi design on it, so, like, I always just, like, I kind of grew up with Pepsi, so I'm going Pepsi.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I'm trying to come up with different questions, and I was sitting there thinking of these questions to ask you, and I was thinking about, you know, the time that my friend actually always preferred Coke over Pepsi, so I said, that's a pretty interesting question. Now, what the hell, I'll ask it. Okay, the next question is, which version of Super Mario do you enjoy? The original version on NES and then regular Nintendo, or the Wii version, which Ryan Justice, who appeared here on this show at one particular point in time, told me that it's the closest thing that you'll get to the original Mario. Which Mario Brothers do you prefer and why?
I prefer the old school original Nintendo because I used to have a Nintendo, so I always used to play Mario on there. So I would have to go with the original.
Okay. The Demi Lovato rehab situation, which is another audio commentary coming on my behalf here to my YouTube channel. The username for that is Jonathan Clarke 22. How do you feel about her going in rehab on November 1st?
That's kind of surprising, actually, because I actually never thought I'd see Demi Lovato going into rehab. I don't know where this is going. I hope this does not turn into like a Lindsay Lohan type thing. That's just not right.
Yeah, I think Lindsay Lohan was just in a new movie, though. I think it was called Machete or something. I think I've seen little bits and pieces of that. So she's still making movies. Hopefully she'll be able to rebound off this rehab thing. But that surprised me too. That's why I've been asking, you know, several people that question, because I thought that it'd be interesting, because I could never see somebody like her, you know, in rehab for one thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I never thought I'd see it. She seemed perfectly normal. Like, that surprised me, actually.
It did, yeah. She seemed like she was so but I mean, that's just an example of how pressure can overtake your life, you know. Pressure can just lead to you doing crazy things. Like, you know, the pressure of me interviewing over 700 wrestlers have led me to doing some pretty crazy and unheard of things. It really has. You know, 700 wrestlers, and then you get to Charlie Haas, and he, like, makes you hear voices inside your head. Why do you call yourself a Super Paramore fan?
I call myself a Super Paramore fan because, like, when they started back in 2000, actually it was 2004, is when they had their first album, All We Know Is Falling. I bought the album as soon as it came out because I absolutely loved Paramore. I was so young, but at the same time, I was in love with Paramore. I loved the fact that she was, like, so gorgeous. She was so pretty. She had such a beautiful voice, and her hair was, like, so bright. I mean, I was just in love with it, and, like, ever since they started, I've been following them. And, actually, when they had Misery Business come out in 2007, that was possibly the best album ever, Riot. I have all of their albums, and I dyed my hair just like her, so I guess you could say I'm a pretty obsessed Paramore fan, so.
Yeah, that sounds pretty nuts. I remember their first single they had on the radio. I think I enjoyed it. I might have been doing an interview when that song came out, so I only caught bits and pieces of it. Someone was making me hear voices inside my head, so I only caught bits and pieces of it. Okay, the next question I have here for you is your general opinions on Kelly Kelly and what's going on with her now.
I like Kelly Kelly. I actually, like, really like her because she's, like, so pretty, and I hope that she can actually stay in WWE and maybe even one day go to TNA, if that's possible. because I think she has the potential to be a really good TNA knockout if she would ever get